It is January, it's cold, wet and miserable outside, and we're delivering a plate of sunshine into your kitchens. We have our harissa roasted squash with a tahini sauce. It's got loads of fiery earthiness from the spices in the harissa. There's herbs in there to cut it all down, and the tahini dressing is loaded with maple and soy. This is a really quick, easy dish to make. So to start with today, we're using onion squash. You may see these lying around. They're really gorgeous, really sweet, nice moisture in the flesh as well. You can use butternut squash, you can use pumpkin, you can use anything you find in the shop that kind of looks like this. So we cut them in half. Now we're just gonna scoop the seeds out. These seeds come out with a spoon, super easy. You just need to get that part out like that. And then it's nice to cut them in different shapes and sizes, I find, because then you're adding not only flavour but heaps of texture as well to your final salad. So just go in different ways. So the dish we're making today is called harissa roasted squash with a tahini sauce. So what we're going to do is, before we chuck this in the oven, we're going to add some olive oil, we're going to add some salt, and we're going to add some harissa, and that's going to give it some real character and some real spice. And then I'm going to give it a nice toss. And one other ingredient we're going to add here is a clove or two of garlic. Give that another good toss. So now we've got a really lovely big bowl of nicely dressed squash. You can see the oil and the harissa all clinging to it. So we're going to line a baking tray with some parchment paper, and now we're just going to tip our squash in there. Now, it's my favourite tool in the kitchen is this. It's called a Maurice spatula. It's just really good at getting all of the lovely little gubbins that you can otherwise miss. So we've covered up our pumpkin and harissa with a tin foil lid. We've covered it nice and tightly. We're going to chuck that in the oven at 240 degrees, and the pumpkin's going to steam in its own juices. Then we're going to take off the tin foil and let it roast uncovered, and that's going to kind of caramelise the nice sugars in the pumpkin. It's going to make it super lovely and roasted and delicious. So let's go on. While our pumpkin is roasting, we're going to get on and make our tahini sauce. So tahini sauce with us today has got a bit of a different take on it. We're adding a lot of soy and a good bit of maple and lime juice, which is going to give it a really nice, salty, tangy flavour, which is going to bounce lovely on the harissa and with the sweet, earthy notes of the squash. So let's get started. So we're going to use a lime as our citrus, because tahini always needs a bit of citrus. Before we squeeze our lime, we're just going to take the zest off and put that in another bowl to one side, and we'll use that along with some herbs and some spring onions to make a nice herby garnish to go on top, which will help kind of lift and cut through the intensity of the rest of the dish. So we're going to juice our lime, add that to a bowl, tahini, some soy sauce, maple syrup, as well as being sweet, kind of has a lovely earthy, wholesome finish about it. A little bit of salt, and we'll just give this a nice whisk together. Now the thing with tahini is, as you introduce new ingredients to tahini, it can kind of seize up and split, and you think you've gone wrong, but just keep whisking it, and it will come back together to form like a really super silky and delicious dressing, like that. Super delicious, salty dressing that's so full of character, and so easy. I mean, that's done, out the way, boom. Next one. I need like someone just below with a fan and a... So we've got our tahini sauce filled with soy, maple, ready to one side. Now we're just going to do is pick some lovely coriander leaves and some spring onions and chop them down, and then we're good to go. So we've got some coriander, which we're just going to roughly chop. I'm going to mix that with the lime. We're also going to get these stems here. And actually we're just going to launch these into our dressing here. Give that a little mix. Delicious. So we've got our coriander leaves with our lime zest. We're then just going to take a spring onion. Cool, so we can add those to our mix there. And just give this a little toss around so it's all kind of mixed together. And we'll just get ready to sprinkle that on top when we're ready to plate. That's all the things we need for today's dish. And you'll see when it comes out the oven, you've got what is a really, really simple thing to make with very few-ish ingredients, but really minimal effort goes in. You've got a really impressive dish to enjoy at the end. Perfect. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Almost. Right, so it's already smelling really like harissa-y. And by harissa I mean there's heat in there, there's cumin, there's caraway, you can feel all those earthy spices waking up. Oh yeah. So you can see the flesh of the pumpkin is just starting to soften. This is perfect, it's exactly what we want. So now we're gonna pop it back into the oven, drop the temperature from 240 down to 210, and just kind of let the rest of it ride out uncovered. So we are halfway through our bake. We're just gonna give this a toss and turn and let it continue cooking. Really nice crust forming on our pumpkin. So the harissa is all nice and coated. We've got some parts staying together, some just starting to fall apart. You can see all the sugars in the pumpkin are starting to crisp up. Amazing, and that's it, that's the simple dish. We've just taken ourselves about 40 minutes to roast the pumpkin, in which time we've made a really quick dressing and just cut up a few herbs. There's heaps of flavour left on that paper. We're just gonna give that a good squeeze and get that all onto the plate. And that's it, look, we're good to go. We've got our dressing here. Just gonna give that a nice drizzle on the top. So we've got tahini in here, we've got soy, we've got maple, some lime juice, and some of those coriander stalks. Just coat that nicely like that, look at that. Delicious. And then just some coriander that we've roughly chopped, some spring onions, some lime zest. Really be haphazard with how you add it on here. It's just adding on textures, it's adding on freshness. That's brilliant, lovely. There's our lunch, there's our dinner. Talking of bringing the sunshine inside, I'm gonna invite Chaya to come and give this a go with me. I can eat this all on my own. Chaya, please.
Yeah. Well, just pull this out of your pocket.
That's
how you roll.
I think it needs
delicious.
just a little bit more lime.
I love lime.
Knowing you, yeah. Please dig in, let me know what you think.
Thank you. I'm just gonna get some harissa on there. And some of this nice tahini. Oh, delicious.
Good, isn't it?
You can cook. Wow.
Okay, very occasionally. It's great, man. I think the texture of the pumpkin's really like, skin holds it together, but it's really soft and easy to get into.
Skin. The skin with great texture.
Thank you so much for watching. The recipe is down below. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe.